So, welcome back to another update of the Aesir-class Corvette. I actually just spent the last 15 minutes making a recording only to realize my microphone was not installed correctly, and so maybe this update will be a bit quicker. So the reason why I haven't been posting so many progress updates lately is because I've gone from I've blocked out the ship the way that I want the structure to approximately be at the moment, and now I'm sort of going in for a more detailed pass. And there's not too much to show you because of this, or rather I think it's rather boring updates where you really only just see me swapping out some of the base mesh, which you can see here, for like more detailed plating, which you can sort of see me clicking on now. I think since the last update a few things have happened. I've added in these missile silos. The idea is they carry 3 missiles each and they sort of like move along a rack and launch out the tube. I'm otherwise considering increasing it so that you actually have all of the tubes. But I haven't fully decided yet, and obviously they're not capped off yet. But the inspiration there is nuclear submarines, or modern submarines that carry missiles or cruise missiles. We also, or rather I have also been reconsidering the name of the ship. Obviously it's very Nordic inspired. I personally have always loved Nordic mythology. One of the first things I did when I moved to Sweden was go out and chase down rune stones and get involved in as much as I could in that period of history. But basically, at the moment, it's named the Aesir class. The Aesir is the main family of gods, which like Odin and Thor were from, and that lived in Asgard. And yes, this isn't the same as the Thor you see in Marvel movies, naturally. Thor should be a huge, muscly guy with a bigger build than Arnold Schwarzenegger had in the 80s, and a huge, big red beard. So, not the same as the modern concept of Thor, but still. Anyway, I digress. Instead of Aesir, I've been thinking of Sleipnir, and the reason for this is Sleipnir was Odin's 8-legged horse. It was really swift, and if you see the ship in landing mode, the thrusters reposition themselves so that they see kind of, well, it could either be bug-like or spider-like, but there's 8 legs there. So I can see the relation, and it still fits with the Nordic theme of Dvalin Industries, the manufacturer that I've sort of created. So this is the landing mode. In case you haven't seen it, you can see there also the small hangar. It's not meant to be a large hangar. It only fits an Aurora or the ships that the fighters that I've been working on before. Like the Valkyria, and there is also an Einherjar, which I've never actually created a thread for. It's a very small fighter, something comparable maybe to the M50 or the P52 Merlin, perhaps a little bit bigger. So yeah. Then we have the cruise mode, in case you haven't seen it, which is for entering atmosphere, and basically you can see, I haven't animated them all, but the thrusters get covered by special plating. Basically the idea is to reduce the drag dramatically. I imagine the retro thrusters will be firing on the way down. But, you know, this is the cruise mode to reduce drag. I thought I'd go through and explain the ship a little bit more in detail. I mean, the main thread on the RSI forums does go into a lot of detail, but I've recently been encouraged by Ship is love, ship is life. I believe that's his name, to enter the ship into a competition that is being run by Edison Trent over on the general chat forums, where you can win up to $100 worth of Star Citizen stuff for a Corvette ship concept. And since I've been working on this since May 2014, I thought, well, it's a Corvette, why not enter? So yeah, basically you have a ship. The backstory comes from the organization Asgard Fleet, which obviously has a Viking, Old Norse theme in it, and I like the backstory there about following in the spirit of Viking explorers like Eric the Red, who went out and discovered Iceland and Greenland and Newfoundland, um, and basically the backstory there was inspiring for me. It was you can look it up yourselves if you like, well worth a read. But basically fleets that went out in search of a new colony and got lost, and so the idea is this ship was built for looking for the lost colonies. And with that in mind, it's been designed to be a deep space corvette. So the idea is that entire families would live on these ships. So it's a little bit more spacious than a pure military design. Still somewhat cramped, but nice enough that it's worth living in. The defensive weapons are designed to be energy based, and the reason for this is if you're in deep space you don't necessarily have access to ammunition, so the power would be generated by a number of power supplies. It is an asymmetrical ship. I don't like ships to be so asymmetrical that they are a little bit ridiculous, but I have always really loved Macross, and I think you can see some of the design inspiration for that in here, just with the raised bridge section, which and the sort of main sensor package off to one side and the bridge to the other. That's my tribute to that. So I thought I would get into a new level of detail. If you bear with me, I will load up the reference file I have for this ship. Reference files allow you to work in several different files in Maya, basically so that you can't overwrite stuff you shouldn't be overwriting. So basically, this is why I haven't made so many progress updates. This is my main hull reference file. So basically it imports it into the file you just saw and mirrors the ship over to the other side, so you have a complete hull. Now this is the reason why it's been taking so much time. You can see here the front half of the ship, I've been replacing all of this plating, and it's even got a skeletal frame work in there that I'm working on. You can see some people in here for scale. This model I think is around about 2 meters high, so I probably do have to fix some of the headroom in some of these areas. The missile silos will go in here, for example. You'll have a sensor package in there, a shield generator down there. This section, this hollow section, fits a fixed weapon, probably a rail gun. And then in here you probably have some ammunition capacity. The prongs, some people suggested that it could be for ramming other ships and keeping it from going too far in. I like the idea because it's like the Daedalus maneuver from Macross or Robotech if you prefer. But it's not really logical to be ramming ships. I actually like the look of it more than anything, and it sort of follows the World War II ship structure. But the prongs are basically stabilizers, kind of like the canards on a Gripen fighter or a Eurofighter or Tornado. basically the decks here, you've got the turret access, and I'm thinking the turrets could get blown off, so I have this system in place which creates an airlock in the case of a hull breach. We've got the main cargo area there. I'm still working on this area a bit so you can see a hole there, but the main ramp will come down there. Landing gears in there. You've got another shield generator there and there. The hallway, I haven't decided if there's going to be any features. It is quite a large space, so it would be a waste not to use it. Maybe it's an exercise area. You've got this secondary living quarters, which will be in this sort of section, which will be detachable from the main ship. So I'm slowly replacing the hull plating here, and there'll soon be be airlocks that can be used to access that section. Up here you have the mess area, which is sort of like got an observation area. The main airlocks, the idea behind these is that the Aesir can actually dock with other ships of its class, so you basically can create a whole row of ships which have linked together, creating a sort of makeshift colony in deep space. That's the Asgard fleet idea at work. You got the hangar to the rear, lower turret down there, access to the rear turret there. At the moment it's just a model based off the Cutlass. That's all of the small manned turrets, they're based off the Cutlass right now. But I'm thinking something more like on the gunship, the Redeemer, will be needed here, so you can access from this point. So you have the rear hangar, you got engineering section which takes up all of this area, rear generator there, and then you'll have two main power reactors. Let's see what else. You've got a general living space here with a bit of observation. This deck is basically, you've got your crew cabins with these windows that can sort of open up when the ship's not fighting, otherwise they have protective seals. Let's see, we've got the captain's quarters here, right next to the CIC area, which will have the the computer cores underneath, and then an observation deck, and of course this goes up to the bridge. So that's the rough layout at present, and you can see why I haven't been posting so many updates. This is a hell of a job. I couldn't tell you how many hours I've put into this project so far, but since I've been working on it since May last year, it's well into the hundreds of hours at this point. So I'm pretty pleased with my progress. If you've got your own Corvette design, you should go and check out Edison Trent's thread on the general forums on the RSI forums. And yeah, I guess hopefully I'm now on holidays for 5 weeks. I will be enjoying the summer weather while it lasts. It's something you've really got to do if you live in Sweden, because we spend 6 months of the year in darkness, basically. But I anticipate there will be some time to make some considerable progress. And yeah, I guess I'll post another update when there's something else to show. And in the meantime, I hope this was at least interesting for some of you to follow, and you're pleased with the update. I'll probably also do another episode of Star Citizen Pledge Guide over the coming weeks, now that I've got a bit of extra time. I've just got to decide what the topic's going to be. Alright, this is Ben, otherwise known as Ultramyth, signing off.